Good morning, everybody. Richard Fulmer here, and welcome to another one of my Richard's Rock Rambles. So here we are. What is it today? The 21st of February. Unbelievable. Where's this year going? I mean, before you know it, it'll be Jingle Bells again. Anyway, so what I've decided to do is take a look at a few artists, whether it be a solo artist or a band. And what I've done is I've chosen my top trio, my top 3 albums of each artist. And yeah, guys, please remember this is my personal top 3, which could also change at any stage. It's nothing cast in stone. I'd love to hear your top 3 of the artists that I'm going to speak about. It'd be great to see which you consider to be the top 3 of any band or solo artist. So, the first band that I'm going to check out is a band from the UK who started out late 70s, but they really became big in the early 80s, going into the mid 80s and still going today. And the t-shirt might be a bit of a giveaway. Yes, I'm going to be chatting about Iron Maiden and my personal top 3. So there have been numerous lineup changes over the years. Some didn't work, some did work. I've been lucky enough to catch these guys twice. This t-shirt I got at the Book of Souls tour that they came out here for in Cape Town at the Good Hope Centre. I also caught them quite a few years before that when they had Blaze Bailey as their singer. Didn't quite work out, and that was at the Good Hope Centre, possibly the worst sound in Cape Town for any venue. But anyway, it was great to see them. That was the first time. And the second time was with Bruce Dickinson. So I got to see the human, what do they call him? The loudhailer or human siren, as they call him. So we're going to go through my top 3. And like I said, let me know down below what your top 3 are. So we're going to start at number 3. And this might be a bit of a strange one for some people. And like I said, it could change. I thought about putting Power Slave here. I thought about putting Killers here. But I've gone for an album called Brave New World. And this album was an album of intent from the band, because they'd had Blaze Bailey, but it hadn't worked out. Dickinson had gone and done solo work. Adrian Smith had left the band, and both of those guys came back for this album. And when you listen to this, you can see that Maiden needed Dickinson, and Dickinson needed Maiden. Same with Adrian Smith, maybe to a lesser degree. But anyway, there's the back cover. There's Bruce Dickinson back in the fold. And that's Adrian Smith there. There's Yannick Gers, Dave Murray, Steve Harris, and there's Nicky McBrain at the back with his squashed nose. So, yeah, this will be the first time that they're going to have 3 guitarists. And, I was a bit worried, is this going to work out? Who's going to do what? And I'll tell you what, it all works out pretty well. And if you see these guys live, each knows their own spot. And there's no sort of hogging the limelight or anything like that. Really strong album. So let's go through the tracks here. The Wicker Man, that's a really great, I think that was one of the first singles to come off the album. And Bruce Dickinson sounds amazing in here. So you can see he's got a new lease on life. Great to be back with the boys. Ghost of the Navigator. The title track, which is amazing, Brave New World. And then my personal favorite from this album, Blood Brothers, which they played here at Grand West when they came out here for this tour. Really did that well. The Mercenary, Dream of Mirrors, The Fallen Angel, The Nomad, Out of the Silent Planet, another great track with all 3 guitarists shining. And of course, Steve Harris's trademark bass right up front. And the last track, The Thin Line Between Love and Hate. Produced by Kevin Shirley, who of course has now become their full-time producer by the looks of things. Cheers, guys. He's done at least their last, I don't know how many albums. And co-produced it by Steve Harris, but a really good production on here as well. I love that cover, interesting. Is there anything else I can show you? There's just the tour. And what you can get from Iron Maiden, of course, their merchandise is always top class. And there's another, oops, things falling here. There's another shot of the band. And there's the songs. And there's the lyrics. There's Steve Harris in all his glory. And there's the man who came back, Bruce Dickinson. Excellent voice. And there's another shot of the band. Let's see if there's any. Yeah, there's Dave Murray and Adrian Smith, the two guitarists. Work so well together with their harmonies and their respective solos. There's Yannick Gers, the other guitarist. Of course, he used to be with Gillan. And there's Nicola McBrain, the madman himself. So there we go. That's my number 3. I don't want to spend too much time on each album, otherwise we're going to run it. You're going to get sick and tired of my voice. So that's my number 3. Coming in at number 2, and this might be for many people their number 1. But for me personally, there's another one which just pips it. Yep, Bruce Dickinson's first album with the band. He came back for that one, but this was his first foray in the band. He used to be singing for a band called Samson. So this is The Number of the Beast, a game-changing album for Iron Maiden. Still had Clive Burr on drums, excellent drummer. I really liked his style. Very different to Nicola McBrain. Nicola McBrain does a lot more sort of fills and stuff. But Clive Burr was rock solid, worked very well with Steve Harris. And there's tracks on here that have gone to become huge hits for the band. Invaders, Children of the Damned. Come on, you can't go wrong with this stuff. The Prisoner, 22 Acacia Avenue, The Number of the Beast, the title track, which they still play. They have to play it today. Run to the Hills, that famous video of the Red Indians on the bicycles and what have you. Classic stuff. Gangland, Total Eclipse, and Hallowed Be Thy Name. And this one is a remastered version, and it's got a special multimedia thing which you can put on your PC, and they give you some tracks, Run to the Hills and The Number of the Beast. I think it's like an animated whatever, and yeah, so you get a whole bunch of extras. That's a great thing about Maiden, is they always give you something extra. And there's a great picture disc for you, and there's some nice photographs in here. There's Maiden in all their pomp live. A band you have to see live. As good as their studio stuff is, you've got to see them live. And there they are, much younger. Yeah, much younger Bruce Dickinson. I don't think he's got that much hair anymore. Or I think he's grown it again. And there they are on their leathers and their jeans. Very simple look in those days. Some great live shots. There's Steve Harris with his bass. And what else can I show you? There's Bruce Dickinson. What a voice. I mean, this guy's range is just amazing. Even today, there's Clive Burr, the late Clive Burr. I think he had MS, died of MS. Really sad story. And there's Eddie in the middle, the mascot Eddie. And there's that light show that you could see their stage shows were starting to get much bigger around this time. Obviously, the more successful, the more money you get, the bigger your stage becomes. Yeah, some great shots in here. And there's another one of Eddie and the boys. Great stuff. So that's my number 2, The Number of the Beast. Like I said, many people might put that as their number 1. So having said that, what is my number 1? Well, this has been my number 1 Maiden for many years. And I don't know if it's just everything seemed to click with this album. Nicola McBrain was on fire. The two guitarists, Smith and Murray, just were brilliant. The songwriting was excellent. Of course, Steve Harris does most of that, along with Bruce Dickinson. And Bruce Dickinson, this was the second album with the band, and you could see he's now an established member of the band, and he just brought something different to the party, especially tour-wise. Great frontman, very different to Paul Dano, the original singer, and very different sounding Maiden too. Those first two albums are great on their own, and they have to be seen as such. This was Maiden doing their thing. So the album that I'm waffling on about, Peace of Mind, where there's Eddie in the loony bin. So this one also comes with multimedia stuff. Flight of Icarus and The Trooper, you can see on your PC. There's a whole bunch of extra stuff. I love this album. I put this on, and you know, there's a lot of more latter-day Maiden and stuff that's become a little bit long-winded for me. Too many lengthy tracks. And you know, my interest sort of wavers, my attention wavers. This grabs you from the first track to the last, and it doesn't get slack, it doesn't taper off, if you like. Excuse me, I just need some more coffee. I'm waffling on here a bit. But yeah, this has been my number 1 for a while. I don't think that would change. Maybe my 2 and 3 would change, but not my number 1. I mean, listen to the tracks on here. Where Eagles Dare, come on, that's Dickinson par excellence. And these guys wrote great lyrics as well. Very thought-provoking stuff. Sword and sorcery. They could do all sorts of stuff. And that was about where Eagles D was basically about there's a lot to do with war and the British and the war and the fighter pilots and what have you. Revelations, the second track. Flight of Icarus. That's another one that became a staple. Die With Your Boots On with some great drumming from Nick and McBrain. Like I mentioned, he shines on this album. The Trooper. That's when Bruce Dickinson comes out on stage with his uniform on, with his Union Jack flag. He still does that to this day, I think. Still Life, Quest for Fire, Sun and Steel, and To Tame a Land. To Tame a Land, for me, is one of the deep tracks on this album that doesn't get enough credit. It's a brilliant track. So the lengths on here are sort of 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 7 minutes is To Tame a Land. I think that's about the longest. Where Eagles there is 6 minutes. All just the right length, these tracks. They don't go on too much, which is what I found lately with them. These guys there's a time when you cut off a song. Don't go on too much. But anyway, that's just my personal feeling. And special enhanced CD for use on your PC, for Macintosh, blah, blah, blah. Full-length videos, band and tour history, biographies, exclusive photo galleries, internet, web links, and much more. And you always get much more with Maiden. So that's my number one, folks. Iron Maiden's Peace of Mind. Let me just see if I can show you. There's a great live shot. There's the brain, Peace of Mind. Get it? Peace of Mind. Some great shots of the band there out on their travels. And these guys have been all over the world. I don't think there's very few places they haven't been. I mean, if they can come here to South Africa, they've pretty much been everywhere. There's Adrian Smith. How's that for a crowd? These guys always get the crowds. And you always get your money's worth. And there they are, sitting at the table with their brain. Lovely stuff. And there's Bruce Dickinson with a lady of ill repute, no doubt. And, yeah, as I said, the stage would start to get much bigger. Power Slave tour would get even bigger. And there's the guys of the Champers. Lots to celebrate. Excellent album. If you don't have this in your collection, it's a must-have. You should go and get it. That's it, guys. My first top trio, Richard's top trio, Iron Maiden, my top three. Please, down below, let me know what your top three is. I'd love to see, love to hear from you guys always. And if you haven't yet, please, down below, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Have yourselves a great week. It's starting to cool down here in Cape Town, which I'm so thankful for because I've had it with the heat. Really, bring on the winter, bring on the cold and the jackets and what have you. Have yourselves a great week, guys. I'll catch you soon. Bye-bye.